What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Pondcast produced by Webs Online. Carolyn Weise always comes with a bunch of information. We've been focusing on summer and heat and things of that nature. Let's round this out with our third episode of the summer installment with Carolyn Weise. Ladies and gentlemen, you guys are in for a treat. This is the third and final episode of our summer series with Carolyn Weise. And this, we're just gonna dive right into it. No pond jokes necessary there, I suppose. But so we do get some emails from time to time where people are curious about the temperature of a pond, new addition of fish, and why maybe the health of those new fish is in question. So I'm just going to hand that right over to you, and obviously we're talking about heat here, right?
Right. Okay. The high temperatures we're having at this time, when you're adding new fish, you have to be aware that a broad spectrum disease treatment should not be used above 85 degrees. We're all aware that you can't use it under 50, but at 85 degrees, the dissolved oxygen content in the pond starts out at marginal for good fish health, and then the formalin will drop this solubility of the oxygen. So if your fish have gill impairment, their oxygen intake is already going to be compromised. And then the problem with the fish surviving the treatment is going to be even less. And then they've got another. Then you want to treat them with salt. Be aware that salt lowers the dissolved oxygen in the water.
All right.
So a lot of people don't know about these things. So in warm and very warm water. So these are a couple of things that are very important to know.
Yeah, absolutely. And you really hit the nail on the head. And one of the reasons I wanted to talk to you about this is people are super familiar with the low temperature restraints on these products. Yeah, and as they should be. And you know, I mean, it's part of my job, it's part of your job. You and I stand on a mountaintop every single time we come through the fall, and we yell it off. You know, I say that just about as many times as I tell people about not overfeeding their fish when they're going into a hibernative state. You know what I mean? So that's very true, and everyone should consider that. But also, that means to our viewers and our listeners here, you have to get this stuff done before the heat comes in. So this needs to become part of your annual schedule. And you know, the second you start taking your de-icer out, you need to start considering and paying special attention to that thermometer, or you're going to get yourself into a problem.
And then you've got one other. If you wanted to reach for the algicide, you have to realize that in warmer water you need to use 24-hour aeration, and algae are oxygenating plants, right? So when you kill them in warmer water, you lose that oxygen production, you gain organic waste, dead algae, and then you're going to have a whole bunch of increased organic food for your organic degraders, the bacteria that break down waste in the pond. So the best thing you can do in warm water, if you want to get rid of your algae, is put up with it if you didn't do it before the water got hot.
That's good advice. That's good advice. So basically, if you're looking at algae, you're in the middle of a heat wave, you bought that algae because you didn't act early enough.
Use your beneficial bacteria. Use your PL, your HC, or your professional blend. Use those. They'll help because they have the photosynthetic bacteria. They're the only ones that can do this. They will help with the balance your nutrients. They have the ability to denitrify. They can take. Whoops, sorry about that. They can take nitrates out of the water, right? By doing that, they're not killing algae, but they're reducing the food that the algae is growing on.
Gotcha. So it's going to stop it from over blooming, right? It's going to maybe
Yes.
try to hold it at bay, but then the
That's
algae
what
can
it's
still
doing.
create the oxygen that your fish desperately need.
That's right.
All right. So there you have it, guys. This is how, man, like, I get a lot of people that just tell me they wish they paid better attention in chemistry class.
Yes.
Yeah, or biology is for that matter as well.
I did. I loved it.
I was an art kid. You know what I mean? So now I'm just sitting here. I'm like, well, I don't want all this ugly algae, and then your fish die. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a difficult play. But guys, this is great because a lot of what Carolyn just said, and I want you to take this home with you, is there's visual cues to this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
If you have a bunch of algae and your thermometer says X, you can deduce that you need to leave it alone. And I think that's the important thing about coming to an expert like you is you really just get a distilled answer. If A and B happen, do X and Y. And definitely before you guys do anything in your pond during those parameters, and I'm going to have you say them one more time before we leave, whether it's too cold or too hot, take a listen to this podcast. We're going to keep this nice and brief so you can just easily consume it. And make sure that you're not causing a problem or, for that matter, exacerbating a problem. Carolyn, one more time, what were the parameters for these chemicals and these biotreatments?
Well, actually, if you're using an algicide, stop at 75.
Okay.
If you're using the beneficial bacteria, keep using it. All right? It does stop you. It stops the food that your algae's growing on.
All right. Well, there's some great advice. Don't kill those fish. Let's keep that pond looking good. Carolyn, I really appreciate your time. We'll check back in with you maybe when the seasons change.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you for asking me.
I always love having her on. I hope you guys learned a lot. We are going to have her back, so make sure you guys send any questions you would like to Pondcast@websonline. That's Pondcast@websonline.com. You can also call in any questions about the products and things that they make over at Microblip. You can just give us a call here if you ever have any questions or concerns. In all likelihood, you'll probably end up getting Joe, who's an amazing pond tech. And you can buy any of this stuff on websonline.com. Until next time, guys, take care. Enjoy your pond.